The Girl on the Train is an exhausting drama that tests your patience with its jejune storyline, pedestrian plot twists, and performances as well as dishwater. Within the first few seconds, director Ribhu Dasgupta introduces us to the principal character, Meera Kapoor, played by Parineeti Chopra. She eventually gets divorced and starts stalking a girl, Nusrat, played by Aditi Rao Hydari, who moves to her quantum house. Meera regularly commutes on a train that halts at the station opposite to that house. The train is always almost full, but we never see her not getting her preferred window seat. The girl on the train then becomes more like the girl owns the train. You may call it a spoiler, but the girl Meera stalks gets murdered some days later, and then nothing substantial happens. Okay, to be fair, there is one plot twist by the time you are through with about 60% of the film. But thanks to the bland direction, even if you have an IQ lower than Trump's, you will declutter the entire story halfway through the film. Then there is an additional plot twist by the end, and by then, you won't care less, as the gaps in the storyline are wider than the Delhi potholes. For one, Meera, who's accused of the murder, cruises around the city with Nusrat's phone, makes several calls from that number, and the police never track her down. Come to think of it, given how turbulent Nusrat's life was, it's hard to believe her phone wasn't password protected. Kirti Kulhari, who plays the lead cop, gives her clumsiest performance till date. Her character exchanges commonplace dialogues like, "Officer, find her. Please. I will." There is this scene where Meera goes to meet a friend, maybe around the Folly House beach, and Kirti Kulhari suddenly appears and says, "We are here for a murder investigation." She investigates Meera for like 2 minutes and claims she's been lying for the last 30 minutes. To be honest, who's the liar here? While the entire cast, including Kirti Kulhari's totally unneeded assistant, wear thick coats, jackets, and sweaters, Kirti wears a shirt with folded sleeves. The only admirable element in her wardrobe was a turban. The film is set in London's Greenwich area, and that doesn't do the plot any favors. Let's just start with the fact that every other character in the film happens to be an Indian. Meera's gynecologist, her psychologist, her husband's bosses, the policewoman, her assistant, and who not. And then, the characters consistently speak with each other in Hindi. Among many such scenes, there is one where Kirti and her assistant have an entire discussion on the case in, you got it, Hindi, with at least 4 English policemen standing behind them in the same room. They are both Indians, I get it. But how the other Englishmen followed the discussion is beyond me. In another scene, Meera goes to attend a community rehabilitation meet full of non-Indians, and she chooses to speak in Hindi. It's as if the UK has also mandated Hindi lessons. I understand it's a Hindi film, but why did they have to choose this setting? Why London? Does it contribute to the story at all? If you still want to watch a similar story with better performances, watch the 2016 film with the same title that has Emily Blunt and Rebecca Ferguson in it. By the time the film ended, I felt bad for Parineeti. This is the actor who mounted films like Ishq Saate, Shuddh Desi Romance, and Hasi To Fasi. In those years, the lack of vanity was among her biggest strengths, and that somehow complemented her mammoth acting skills. With this film, Parineeti has been reduced to a miserably inconsistent character that always has her eyeliner on, with a nail paint that never faints. I'm going with 2 stars.